Hey everyone, Rachel here. You might be wondering what I'm doing on the floor. Well, I am putting together a table, and what I want is to just really let y'all know that you can be a busy parent, you can be busy, and you can still take care of yourself. So, today, what I really want to focus on is how to take care of your own health and really work on self development. As I do this table, I'm going to just kind of chat and share with you because over my life, I've had a lot of different things, a lot of different changes, a lot of different events occur. And one thing that I'm really grateful for is that I've always kept going. There's this concept of grit, and I feel like I'm a pretty gritty person. Some people might be like, yeah, you are gritty. But in all seriousness, the concept of grit is that through adversity, through challenges, you still keep moving forward because you know that at some point something positive will happen. And what I've learned over time is that those positive things are throughout your life. It's just that if you're not open and aware of them and willing to explore them, it's hard to see them because you more so focus on the negative things. One thing that as both a therapist and a coach, oh, I found it really important to focus on self development. I think it's so easy to listen to other people and take their opinions of who we are, and even identify ourselves based on what others have told us over time. And, I could do that. I could go based on what people have shared with me over time or what teachers have told me, what professors have told me. But really, if I did that, I would be a completely different person. I have no idea which direction this goes here. So with with that, I think that so often we get, we try to trust people in our life, like adults and teachers and parents, because that's what we're told as a kid, right? We're told that it's important to honor thy mother and father. We're told if you're religious, we're told, or just in general, we attach, like as kids, it is in our innate makeup that we attach to our caregivers. It's a way for us to survive. It's a way for us to make it through life. And so that's what kids do. And not saying that it's their job or their role, but we take on that job or that task as a kid to do what we need to do so that we are accepted and cared for. Now, that can be really confusing because if adults are not providing that support to the kid can see it as their fault or they didn't do good enough. And over time, that can become the new identity, right? Like, I didn't, my parents got mad at me, therefore I'm a bad kid. When in reality, it could be that the parents really struggled with their own stuff. Over time, we start to learn these new concepts, new or beliefs that we have about ourselves. I'm a bad kid. I'm not worthy. I can't do it because we hear other people tell us this information. And if we just focus on that and take that as a truth, a lot of times that's the identity that we create for ourselves. Now, I'm not saying that, I was actually very blessed to have parents that believed in what I could do and achieve, and that's probably why I am where I am today. But I did have some different challenges in my life where I did get really negative feedback from teachers who didn't really believe in me. And so those are the voices and the challenges that I've had to go through, and even just growing up, like things that kids would say to me. I definitely was a more emotional child as well. My parents always loved to share the stories about when I would cry because I didn't study for something and I was really anxious. Like now that we look at it, it was just anxiety about taking the test, and that would lead to me feeling more emotional. But I remember I have two teachers, two professors, actually three, um, that really impacted me and shared information that was really hard for me to hear. One teacher shared that I start tasks and I don't complete them. Little do they know I'm completing this right now. But they said that I am very adventurous, or not adventurous, but really motivated to get things going and innovative. Those weren't the words they used, but this is how I remember it. But I don't complete it. And, at the time, that was gut-wrenching because I felt like I was working so hard. And now I realized it was my difficulties with attention. And it's actually a big part of who I am, but I haven't let it control me because I am innovative. I am creative. I don't want to break that. But it is hard for me to follow through. And so that is a skill that I've had to learn and develop over time. And had that individual not shared that, it might have been something I never found out, right, or knew. And so although that negative experience is one that was really challenging and could have derailed me, I have decided that I need to take that information and apply it in a way that will help, right? And that is really what grit stands behind, is that in times where you feel, like what you're doing isn't good enough, or you get this horrible feedback, instead of letting that take over you and define you, you make a decision to be yourself. And so another example I had was one of my professors in grad school actually shared with me that they never thought I would be a good therapist. And kind of the same concept, I didn't follow through with tasks. Again, I found out later that I really struggle with attention difficulties. But that was hard. I mean, like, I was scared I was going to fail grad school. And I had to work extra hard to make it through, and I did. But it wasn't me just being lucky. I had to actually push through it. And so when you think about self-development, you have to really be open to change, because those things about me that they shared, they're not like fun things to think about. They're not things where I'm like, oh, I love the fact that I have a hard time following through on tasks and completing them. It's super enjoyable. But I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish in life, and if I don't address that, if I don't come to this reality that I do struggle with completion of tasks, then I am going to keep struggling, right? And so being open and working on yourself, you have to think about, like, as you're listening to self-development stuff, if something rubs you wrong, it's probably because you struggle with it, right? And instead of beating yourself up and putting yourself down and, calling yourself all these names for struggling with it, I encourage you to just be open to it. You learned that, or you struggle with it for a certain reason. And there were a lot of things I learned over time that I had to relearn, or see that there can be positive, like my excitement, my hyperactivity, it's part of who I am. I love having fun and I love being creative. And that is a strength of mine. And my struggles or my weaknesses, they're challenges, but they also, they don't have to interfere with my creativity either. And so once I was able to recognize that a weakness is not a negative thing, it's just a hurdle I have to work through. It's just, something that I have to get skills for. I have to plan for. I have to be aware of, so that when I have the urge to stop something, I don't just stop. I finish it. That self-development and being open to that has really helped me along the way. So I encourage you, when you listen to podcasts, or listen to like self-help books, or like I love Brene Brown. I just got into Ed Milet, who I really enjoy. There's a couple other people that I've really enjoyed, as well as I listen to new podcasts. Who's the new Jay Shetty? That's a new one I've been listening to. Um, those conversations, they build me up and they give me new ideas, new ways of working and coping with some of the struggles that I have, because it makes me realize I'm not alone in it. But my tip for you today is, as you start working on self-development, as you start going inward, know that it's going to be uncomfortable, but don't avoid that discomfort, because that is what's going to move you forward. Anytime we have change in our life, even like think about if you were exercising, right? There's always discomfort in the exercise before your muscles build up. Like your muscles actually have to break down before they can build up. And that is essentially how our body or how our brain works too. Like we have to go through the emotions, we have to go through the experience and break up the past and things that happened so that we can actually build it back up. It's the same as muscles and when we exercise. So the way to do that though is you have to be present and you have to be willing to do the workout. And then be coachable. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to your body. If you're under distress, really zone in. Ask yourself, why does this bother me, without judging yourself? Ask yourself, where did you learn this belief? And dig deeper. That's what's really helped me, is kind of figuring out where my core beliefs came from and why, and then breaking it apart so that I can get sense out of it and actually use it to help me move forward. So self-development, even if it can be really scary, whether it's through podcasts, whether it's going to therapy, it can actually be such a blessing. Breaking down the past and where you're currently at so that you can build it back up. So Ed Milet, Brene Brown's great. Seeing a therapist is wonderful. A coach, anything that is going to help you move forward. But the biggest piece is you have to be open to it. You have to. If you go in not willing to do the work, or not willing to be open to the feedback, or not willing to take it and digest it and recognize that feedback can actually help you move forward, you're going to stay stuck. Okay? So, first step is to acknowledge that you need to make change. Second step is finding the resources. And third step is be open to the feedback and start taking action. Whatever they recommend, whatever they suggest, start trying it. So if you would like to learn more, I'll share more information, more things that I've learned over my life within therapy as a coach. Just hit subscribe down there, and also like my page, and you'll see when the next video pops up.